Let me make sure I'm ready for this video real quick. Got my notes, check. Pepsi, check. Sunglasses, check. Hat, check. And yes, thick skin, check. Let's go. Welcome to Golden Bluted, everybody. If you are a college football fan, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button because that's all we do here. Videos every single day. And when you get a chance, go check out our Patreon page. We have a lot of great perks over there. We call our Patreons the shot callers because they call the shots around here. Remember, $5 and up Patreons will get to decide the game that we're going to live stream in the regular season, and you'll get to watch with me, Golden Bluted. And our score prediction contest will be coming back. Every week I'll pick out a game, and my Patreons will pick the score, and whoever comes close to the score wins $20. And you can win as many times as you want. Guys, I promise you, I have tried to move on from Lincoln Riley. I really have. Once again, I want to say, I'm not trash talking USC. I'm not trash talking the USC fan base. You guys are a great bunch of people. And honestly, I'm just trying to warn USC fans because the last time y'all put this much stock into a hire, he was a young, successful coach known as Lane Kiffin. But every time I try, he pops up again. That's not necessarily a bad thing because he's keeping USC in the spotlight. They're getting news. They're getting talked about. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. But the things he says, it does make you raise an eyebrow. So the latest incident with Lincoln Riley, I should say incident with Lincoln Riley, is he sat down for an interview with ESPN. And I thought there were some very interesting things that he said in that interview. One of the things that I first saw was his reaction to, could he have done things better in the transition from Oklahoma to USC? And here's what he said. Are there things I could have done better throughout the transition? It was not going to be smooth, but maybe smooth it out a little bit. Yes, there is when I look back. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could have done better, like talking trash about the Oklahoma fan base, talking trash about the Oklahoma football program, talking trash about the state of Oklahoma. Basically saying that the only thing going on in the state of Oklahoma is Oklahoma football. Too much pressure, too much talking about Oklahoma football. So going to USC was kind of getting out of that. And yes, USC is a big deal, but it's in Los Angeles. There's a lot of things going on in Los Angeles. The LA Rams just won the Super Bowl. They have the Dodgers there. They have the Lakers there. They have the Clippers there. You also have crosstown rival UCLA. There's a lot of things that go on in the city of Los Angeles, not to mention Hollywood. So there's a lot of different distractions. It's not solely focused on USC. And that's not to say there's not going to be any pressure at USC. There's going to be a ton of pressure, but there's other things that people talk about in Los Angeles. He also talked about the LSU job search, and he was asked if he got any calls from LSU, if he was involved at all in the LSU job search. Here's what he said. I've taken one phone call in the 7 years at OU, and it was the USC phone call after the Oklahoma State game. That's the only phone call I've ever taken, ever. I didn't take one NFL call. I didn't take any of them. He claims that the job opportunities, did call his agent, but that he himself never took any of those phone calls, just USC. He's a professional. He blocks all of that out. Okay, whatever you say, Lincoln Riley. After that, he kind of deflected to Bob Stoops. Here's what he said about Bob Stoops. He's an OU guy, and I understand that. But he also listened and got very, very close several times with other schools when he was at OU. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Fact is, he's deflecting, saying, Bob Stoops got very, very close to leaving Oklahoma. But I didn't until I got the call to USC. He goes on to say, he's told me that if he had to make a decision on a different day, things might have turned out differently. So basically he was saying the timing just didn't work out for Bob Stoops. If it would have happened on a different day, Bob Stoops probably would have left Oklahoma for an NFL job or a better job opportunity. Nice deflection, Lincoln Riley. That was well thought out. Like I said at the beginning, it doesn't really matter whether that happened or not. Maybe it did happen. But the fact of the matter is, he's deflecting, saying Bob Stoops took several of those calls and he was very, very close to leaving Oklahoma. I didn't take any of those calls. Just the USC phone call. So he's trying to minimalize it. That's what I get out of Lincoln Riley when asked any of those questions. He tries to minimize it. He also talked about the rumors that he left Oklahoma to run from the SEC. Here's what he said about that. I wasn't running from the SEC. I was running to USC. That's a good answer. I actually like that. That's probably the best way I could answer that. I disagree with you, Lincoln Riley, but that was well put, well thought out. I didn't run from the SEC. I just ran to USC. That'll definitely rub USC fans on the back. Give them a nice pat on the back. They'll definitely like that answer. Then he was asked what attracted him to USC. Here's what he said. The combination here of the elite academics and you've gotten a proven football history. It's been done here. And then that big LA market. All of that. I just don't know anywhere else that has those three. So he talked about the combination of the elite academics. I don't know why he said that. He has nothing to do with that. A proven football history. Well, Oklahoma has that as well. And then the LA market. The big LA market. That's the key. Ding, ding, ding. That last answer is why you left Oklahoma for USC. The LA market, the attraction, the bright lights. You know you can attract pretty much anybody at USC, and that's fine. Just be specific. Say, this is why I left. Look, there's a bigger market in LA, and I'm going to be able to get way more talent here because more athletes are going to be attracted here, especially with the offense that I run. That would have been the correct answer. You just kind of threw other things in there to kind of deflect from the LA market aspect, which I don't know why you did that because that's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. Why did you do that? He said he knows what to do to build a roster and he knows what not to do to build a roster. I would agree with that. He can build a roster, but the main thing is going back to the LA market. That's what's going to help Lincoln Riley build a roster at USC. Then they moved on to a more serious subject, talking about Jordan Addison. And was there any tampering? I call this the portal talk. Here's what he had to say about the portal. Go back to Caleb Williams when he left OU. Everybody thought it was a done deal. Shoot, there's still so much new about this that he's got to go through, that his family has to go through, a different location, a different league, a different staff, different teammates. Oh man, Caleb Williams, man, now we feel bad for you. You're going through a lot. You are going through a lot going to USC. You sacrificed a lot to go from Oklahoma to USC. All that money that you're getting, man, that's just money for your pain and suffering for transferring. Are you serious, Lincoln Riley? My gosh, the deflection that's going on in this conversation is flat out ridiculous. He dances around the subject because he knows he don't want to say the wrong thing. And I get that. I get that. You definitely don't want to say the wrong thing. But this is a little much. Acting like Caleb Williams is going through a whole bunch of changes, him and his family. A lot of adjustments. It's tough on this kid. Give me a break, Lincoln Riley. Come on. And he claims, of course, that there was no tampering with Jordan Addison. I'm not even going to go into that because there's no actual proof of that. I don't even know what tampering has been defined as. I mean, basically, you can pay for players to play. So I don't know why he's dancing around that anyways. And then saying that Caleb Williams is still going through a lot. My gosh. He went on to talk about players reaching out to USC. Here's what he said. When we got the job, we started hearing from players immediately. Shockingly fast. We're going to wind up in the 20s in the number of transfers this year. So basically he's saying that players reached out to USC and himself as soon as they found out that he was going to USC. That's where it can get to the illegal stuff, because if you start talking to people before they enter the transfer portal, that's where you can get into penalties. I guess that's how you could define tampering. Going back to my previous comment. Once they're in the transfer portal, you can talk to them as much as you want. But if they're talking to you before they enter the transfer portal, that's a no-no. So he might have gotten himself in a little bit of hot water with that statement right there. And he said he's going to wind up with 20 transfers by the end of the year. And right now, USC is number one in the transfer portal. They have 17 transfers. 1 5-star, 6 4-stars, and 10 3-stars. So he's basically predicting he's going to get a few more high-caliber transfers. So you might want to keep your eyes on the transfer portal and the high-caliber transfers that are in there right now. They might be going to USC. Here's the bottom line. Lincoln Riley at USC, that was a great hire for USC. It's just the transition and the trash talk he's throwing towards Oklahoma, the dancing around the questions, being disingenuous. It comes off at being fake. Dude, just be real. Answer the questions. Say that you left USC because of the money, and that you know you can build a roster because of the LA market. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe there's some things going on at USC that he shouldn't be doing, like the tampering, talking to athletes before they enter the transfer portal. Maybe that's why he's acting the way he is. That's just a guess. Y'all let me know in the comments section what you think about Lincoln Riley. Do you think he was being truthful in this interview? How successful do you think he'll be at USC? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.